All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you all so much for joining His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. Today we are continuing with our Srimad Bhagavatam series of second canto, second chapter, and today's verse is number 17. Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for your time and association for all of us. I'll share my screen again. Yes, Maharaj, please take over. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yatra kalo nimisam param prabhu. Utanu deva jagatam ya isire. Nayatra sadvam narajasthamascha. Navai vikaro namaham pradanam. Translation. In that transcendental state of labo pasanti, there is no supremacy of this devastating time, which controls even the celestial demigods who are empowered to rule over the mundane creatures. And what to speak of the demigods themselves? Nor is there the mode of material goodness, nor passion, nor ignorance, or even the false ego, nor the material causal ocean, nor the material nature. Purport. Devastating time which controls of past, present, and future does not act on the transcendental plane. The influence of time is exhibited by the symptoms of birth, death, old age, and disease. And these four principles, material conditions, are present everywhere in any part of the material cosmos up to the planet Brahmaloka, where the duration of life of the inhabitants appears to be fabulous. Insurmountable time even brings about the death of Brahma. So what to speak of other demigods like Indra, Chandra, Surya, Vayu, and Varun? The astronomical influence directed by the different demigods over mundane creatures is also conspicuous by its absence. In material existence, the living entities are afraid of satanic influence. But for a devotee on the transcendental plane, there is no such fear at all. The living entities change their material bodies in different shapes and forms under the influence of the different modes of material nature. But in the transcendental state, the devotee is gunatita, or above the material modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Thus, the false ego of I am the Lord of all I survey does not arise there. In the material world, the false ego of the living being trying to lord it over material nature is something like the moth falling into a blazing fire. The moth is captivated by the glaring beauty of the fire, and when it comes to enjoy it, the blazing fire consumes him. In the transcendental state, the living being is pure in his consciousness, and as such, he has no false ego to lord it over material nature. Rather, his pure consciousness directs him to surrender unto the Supreme Lord, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7:19, Vasudeva Saramiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabhaha. All this indicates that in the transcendental state, there is neither material creation nor the causal ocean for material nature. The above mentioned state of affairs is factual on the transcendental plane, but is factually revealed in the transcendental knowledge of the advanced state of pure consciousness. We'll read that one again. Written. The above state of affairs is factual on the transcendental plane, but is factually revealed in the transcendentalist knowledge of the advanced state of pure consciousness. Such transcendentalists are two types, namely the impersonalists and the devotees. For the impersonalists, the ultimate goal or destination is the Brahmajyoti of the spiritual sky. But for the devotees, the ultimate goal is the Vaikuntha planets. Devotees experience the above-mentioned state of affairs by attainment of spiritual forms for activity in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. But the impersonalist, because of his neglecting the association of the Lord, does not develop a spiritual body for spiritual activity, remains the spiritual spark only, merged into the effulgent or spiritual rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is the full-fledged form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. But the foremost Brahmajyoti is simply eternity and knowledge. The Vaikuntha planets are also forms of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. Therefore, the devotees of the Lord who are admitted into the abode of the Lord also get bodies of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. As such, there is no difference between one and another. The Lord's abode, name, fame, entourage, etc., are of the same transcendental quality, and how this transcendental quality differs from the material world is explained herein in this verse. In the Bhagavad Gita, three principal subjects have been explained by Lord Krishna, namely Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. But one can reach the Vaikuntha planets by the practice of Bhakti Yoga only. The other two are incompetent in helping one reach Vaikuntha Lokas. Although they can, however, conveniently take one to the effulgent Brahmajyoti as described above. You can leave it there, don't move it. Om Gyan Timirandasya Gana Jana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ma Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya De Satarine Panchakalpatarubhascha Vipasindu Vyevacha Hitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Labdo Pashanti, a state of transcendental bliss beyond everything material. And this verse and purport describes what are the material encumbrances that the living entity can be affected by, such as the different levels of existence, all the way up to the state of pure consciousness. There are different levels of spiritual attainment, and each characterizes by a certain quality that lifts one to some degree above the material energy and the influence of the material energy. Here, this state of pure consciousness is being described, which lifts one beyond the material energy completely and qualifies one to enter into the spiritual world, where one's natural constitutional position is now given as a spiritual body. Here we're describing spiritual consciousness, even within the material realm. The devotee still has a body, but still their consciousness is pure. Because consciousness is pure, consciousness is the reality of one's existence. You are what you are aware of. Awareness or consciousness is actually the indication of the state of existence that one is experiencing. Now here, this is the state of pure consciousness. Above the material, above the demigods, who have different influences beyond the material energy to a certain degree, not completely, beyond even the material energy and all of its movements, even beyond the time factor. Time factor cannot influence one who is in pure transcendental consciousness, because transcendence, because time actually is within the material realm. So you might think, well, this is impossible for me to attain. It's not. If one follows strictly the process under the guidance of the spiritual master and executes their devotional service with complete determination. And by doing that, one can gradually move their consciousness from the material to the different levels within the material. Most of us are still struggling with passion and ignorance. But if we come to goodness, there's a sense of relief from material suffering, which is partial but not complete. But even in that state of goodness, one is still acting in the material energy and still getting a material result for that activity, which implicates one to a further material consciousness. In other words, one is perpetuating material consciousness on a higher level. Material consciousness means seeing oneself as the center, even though one may have many good qualities, such as compassion, kindness, charity, knowledge, feelings of happiness, and not so much affected by the sufferings that come by way of living in the material world. Still, it's still in the material energy. So this is above all of that. The time element is a feature of Maya. For one who's in this pure consciousness, there's no question of calculating things of time, because time has no effect. Time is not the indication by which we see a particular piece and it describes what is the time of day. Time is the movement of the living entity from one material situation to another. That's time. Time brings about, develops, moves along, and ultimately diminishes the quality of one's existence and existence itself. On this highest state of pure transcendental consciousness, the effects of time are absent. As it says, it's conspicuous by its absence. So one should practice Krishna consciousness, knowing what is the goal of Krishna consciousness. The goal of Krishna consciousness, or we might say bhakti yoga, as it says here, is to elevate one's self to pure spiritual consciousness, which is the constitutional nature of the soul's existence. What we are trying to attain is what we actually are. We are not something other than what is being described here. We are pure spiritual consciousness, and our existence is in connection with the source of our existence, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have nothing to do with the material world at any feature of our existence, although we still may be within the material world. We're not affected by the material world, nor are we moved by the elements that move the material world from one situation to another. A devotee in that pure spiritual consciousness is Brahma Bhuta. In other words, Prashanatma, they're joyful at every moment. The joy is continuous. Here it mentions that there are another set of spiritualists who are known as impersonalists, who have perfected the level of karma yoga, actually jnana yoga, and elements of karma yoga, and have come to the stage of Samahatma Sadurlabha. They are free from all of the influence of the material energy. They're existing in their spiritual consciousness, but the quality of spiritual consciousness is eternity and knowledge and bliss. These are the three features of the soul's qualities. So when one attains the impersonalist goal, one experiences eternality and transcendental knowledge, but transcendental bliss is not there. Why? Because they don't serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead in devotion. They merge into his body or his bodily effulgence, either one, depending on the type of impersonalist that one performs. And they exist in a type of state of happiness, but which is temporary because the soul has to develop relationships. We are by nature living entities that exist in relationship, either in the material world and in the spiritual world, to another living entity. Because the impersonalists cut off all material relationships, but they don't develop the spiritual relationships with their source, that is the Supreme Lord. They experience a type of eternity and knowledge, but the bliss, the joy of loving exchange is not there, which is the ultimate nature of the soul's perfection, to exchange love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is only there in Bhakti Yoga. So for those who execute Bhakti Yoga, one can reach the highest state, and that is loving the Supreme Personality of Godhead in different features of the Lord's existence. These are called rasas or mellows or relationships, and they exist in the Vaikuntha realm in the mood of servitorship and in the mood of friendship in an equal or less than equal relationship with the Lord. So they say in Vaikuntha, there's 2.5 relationships. You can either serve Krishna in the mood of contemplating the loving nature of the Supreme Lord in different ways, or you can serve the Lord in different features of activity as designated by the activities of the spiritual realm, or you can have a friendship relationship with Krishna where you have you're equal to Krishna in friendship, and or Krishna is superior to you in that friendship relation. So Vaikuntha has 2.5, but in the realm of Goloka Vrindavan, which is the process taught by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we move into the level of friendship that is superior to Krishna or equal to Krishna, loving parental affection, where we take Krishna to be our son, daughter, family member, or the highest and most intense happiness experiences in the Madhurya Ras, where Krishna is one's constant lover, either in the mood of Parakiya Ras or in the word or Swakiya. Swakiya means to be married to Krishna, and Parakiya means to have a lawless relationship with Krishna, whereas one is married to another relationship in the spiritual world, but one in the female form has a relationship with Krishna in a kind of secretive way that is called the Gopis of Vrindavan. So these are the levels of spiritual attainment that the soul can achieve. And that level is natural to the soul's existence according to the level that one is designated on. How one performs devotional service will indicate what direction one will move according to one's actual internal nature. And that is guided by the spiritual master. If we try to evaluate by our own self, we may understand something about our nature and our spiritual relationship with Krishna, but it will be incomplete and may also be disturbed by the changing situations that we experience in the activities of devotional service. So therefore, there is this eternal relation, and one cannot compare this state of consciousness to anything material. It is way beyond material consciousness. It is pure. It is full of knowledge. It is full of varieties of spiritual services and activities. And it is everlasting. It's not temporary. It's eternal. And it is always the perfectional stage of existence. So one should try to attain that state of pure consciousness through the process of bhakti yoga. By adhering strictly to the instructions of the spiritual master, that means without deviation or without subtraction or addition, and learning how to apply those instructions centered around chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which carries one's consciousness through different levels of spiritual attainment, all the way up to the stage of pure spiritual consciousness. So the chanting of the holy name is the most powerful and effective force for purifying the soul's existence of all material taints, all the way up to the level of pure consciousness. So one should emphasize and practice more and more how to improve the quality of their chanting, and along with that, their relationships with other devotees practicing Krishna consciousness, sadhu sangha. The Lord Chaitanya emphasized three things in his explanation of the process of pure devotional service. He called it namruchi, a sweet taste that comes by way of chanting the holy name. Jivadoya, service, associating and serving Vaishnavas. And not Jivadoya, that is Vaishnav Seva. And then Jivadoya means to take the mercy that you have received from your practice of devotional service and give it to others. Sometimes we call it preaching, teaching, being an instrument of mercy to others. These three things Lord Chaitanya put foremost in his practice of Krishna consciousness. Chanting the holy names, associating and serving Vaishnavas, and giving the mercy to others in the form of Krishna conscious knowledge and activity. So if we emphasize these three things, everything else will follow easily. Krishna conscious in practice is quite simple, but one has to apply oneself in a determined way, because the influence of the material energy is very strong upon the conditioned soul. And that influence causes one sometimes to deviate in their process of bhakti, or divert one's attention to something else that is useless and material. So we have to be very serious. This is a process of being very serious. It's something that, well, I'll take it up if it works, that's nice. If it doesn't work, then fine, I'll go on to something else. It works because that's the nature of the soul. And each living entity has that quality of eternal knowledge and bliss within its natural, pure spiritual existence. It's there. It has to come out through this process of ananya bhakti or pure bhakti, which comes through the process of spontaneous devotional service. And it's available. It's Lord Chaitanya taught it. Srila Prabhupada explained it. The acharyas also are practicing it and also teaching us all of the information, all of the knowledge, all of the association needed is available to make one a pure lover of God, which is what we are looking for. We may not know it, but that's what we're looking for. We may have a different goal in our mind, but that goal is not a real goal. The real goal is who we are. We're actually trying to become what we call self-realized. What is the self? Not the body. The self is the soul. That realization is experiencing the qualities of the soul through the process of serving the Supreme Lord in different rasas, such as Sakya Ras, Vatsalya Ras, Madhurya Ras, or even Dasya Ras. Okay, so we can stop here.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much. Such a wonderful class. Nicely explaining about the Brahma Buddha stage and also about Bhakti Yoga and how we have to be serious in this process. And yeah, thank you so much, Maharaj. Dear devotees, any questions or comments or realizations, you can please go ahead now. And please turn on your cameras. If possible, it will be nice to have your darshan. Sridevi Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Speaking of the Brahma Bhuta stage, Guru Maharaj, I've heard sometimes in some lectures, some senior devotees saying we have to go even beyond the Brahma Bhuta stage. Even impersonalists can obtain this stage. So we have to go even beyond this. So what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, I mentioned the Brahma Bhuta stage, but I was indicating the characteristics of the Brahma Bhuta stage, but we have to go beyond Brahma Bhuta stage, no question. We have to come to the stage of prema bhakti, serving the Lord with love. Brahma Bhuta is not on that stage. Doesn't mention love there. Love is still a few stages away from the Brahma Bhuta stage. Brahma Bhuta stage can happen on Ruchi, develops on Ashakti. But then you have to go all the way up to Bhava. Bhava means feeling intense affection for Krishna in different moods, in different forms, and ultimately come to the stage of prema. Prema, once enters into the level of prema, then feelings of natural love will awaken in the mood of separation from Krishna or meeting Krishna in different ways. In that stage of prema bhakti, there are different characteristics as described, all the way up to the stage of mahabhava, which is the pure loving relationship beyond all levels of spiritual attainment. So yeah, they're right. I just mentioned the Brahma Bhuta stage, but I wasn't saying that's the actual goal.
Then how come the impersonalists can also obtain this joyful state when they don't have a relationship, they're not serving the Lord, they're not connected to Krishna, who is the source of happiness, how they can become Brahmabhuta?
Well, yeah, I'm sure you've come across this point again. I think you're asking it for the benefit of all of us. So you know the answer. The idea is that if you stop all material suffering, there's a kind of happiness that comes with that cessation of material, and that is called, Brahman realization or understanding oneself as a spiritual being. And then one can attain levels of merging into the Brahman effulgence or merging into the body of the Lord. There's two levels. Shishupal merged into the body of the Lord. When Krishna killed him, he got a very high form of spiritual. But of course, and then he still hadn't reached perfection yet. And there's others impersonalists who merge into the Brahman effulgence. That's like many of the demons that were killed by Krishna. They also got Brahminical or Brahman realization. In other words, they were outside of their bodies and experiencing the happiness of the soul's natural existence. But then again, there's no ananda. There's the happiness, just like if you're not suffering, and there's a sense of happiness that comes by not suffering. But happiness really is not just a cessation of suffering, it's an experience of loving relationship, which is the nature of the soul, to have an exchange love. In the material world, people try to do that amongst each others, but they only get some slight indication of happiness, and it's always combined with some other material situation which destroys that temporary situation. So no one can find pure love in the material world and find that state of existence continuous. But in the spiritual world, it's natural. Natural to love Krishna. Natural to serve Krishna. But the impersonalists, they attain. Prabhupada talks about it. He says, if I tell you, come here and just, you can exist here eternally, but there's nobody else around, just you. You can experience your eternal nature of unlimited existence, but it's just you. You think, well, I want somebody to talk to, somebody to interact with. So therefore they get some relief from material existence. They get an indication of the happiness of pure spiritual existence, but they don't get ananda. That's what this particular purport explains. There's no ananda there.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, we have a question on chat by Abhishek Dubey Prabhuji. He's asking, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. As you said, Maharaj, we should have real goal in the life means spiritual goals, but we also have some material goals with us, and what should we do with them and how to deal with that?
Forget him. So, what will you attain by reaching your material goal? You can live in this material world and function for the necessities that you need to exist, such as taking care of the body. And when there's responsibilities in the ashram of Grihastha, there is other services that need to be done. But those who are actually interested in their spiritual life do these things simply as a chore. It's a burden. It's done simply to complete it. If you have material goals, then that'll deter your attention away from your spiritual practice. And even if you attain them, you will lose them in due course of time because they're temporary. And therefore, you're wasting time instead of using the short life that we have to cultivate our real state of existence, pure state of existence, happy state of existence. We are still chasing the ephemeral illusions of this material world. And you'll see, even if you attain your material goals, will it give you happiness? Will it give you satisfaction? The mind may feel some relief, but the soul will never feel happy. The soul is actually the nature. The soul can only be happy when it's connected with its source. And that's devotional service. There's no other way to connect other than devotional service.
Thank you.
So do mere material activities as a chore or something to get done. That's all. So you can really put your attention where you can actually benefit on the spiritual plane.
Yes,
Don't worry, Krishna will supply you material things. If you're serving him, you think he's going to let you starve or put you out in the cold with no place to stay. He takes care of his devotee, don't worry. We don't have to make arrangements for our material existence. All we have to do is serve Krishna. Krishna will teach you and also supply whatever you need to live in this world. He'll do it directly when we surrender to him in devotion.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj. Sakshi Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, you mentioned that those who are in the pure state of spiritual consciousness, the effect of time factor is absent. So can you please kindly help with an example?
Yeah, time, what does time do? Time, there's 6 features of time. It brings something about, it develops that item, it fixes that item in a certain position, it causes that item to produce byproducts. Gradually, that item starts to dwindle and then it vanishes. These are the 6 changes of time. Time is moving everything from one situation to another. The baby is born, the baby is 3 weeks old. That means 3 weeks of the baby's life is gone. Sometimes we say, oh, how old are you? And then we see when we give the number, well, I'm 22 years old, that means 22 years of your life is gone. And so Prabhupada would say, not 22 years old, 22 years dead. Because time takes away everything material. But one in pure spiritual consciousness is not under the influence of time. Their bodies might be, but they aren't. They're above their bodies. Therefore, when the time element is moving their body along, they are not affected by the time at all. Because they're in consciousness. They're with Krishna in this material world, in the material body. And when the body disappears, then they go to Krishna. There's no difference. If we think we're
Thank you
this,
very much.
if we think we're this body, then time will affect us in different ways.
Smart. Thank you,
You
Maharaj.
you take care of the body in a minimal amount of way, so you can use it for devotional service. But you're not the body. You drive the car, but you're not the car. You still take care of the car because it has some value. The body allows us to serve in this material world, but it's not us. Feed it, give it some rest, make sure it remains healthy, but go on with your real business. Krishna consciousness.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you. Vinayak Prabhu, please go ahead. Hare Krishna, you are muted.
Accept my humble all glories to the Prabhupada.
Your voice is breaking, Prabhuji.
Maharaj, what is the difference between
Can you
Hare
speak
Krishna?
louder, Prabhuji?
Okay, okay.
Can you repeat and speak
Hare
louder?
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, we can hear, but
Hare
your video
Krishna.
is frozen. You
Now,
can
okay,
stop your
Maharaj.
video, Prabhuji, if possible. Then audio will be better.
Okay.
Yeah, now please go ahead.
Now, okay.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, actually, I have some doubt, Maharaj. Actually, what is Param Brahma Jyoti and what is Vaikuntha Lok? What is the difference actually, Maharaj?
What is the first one? Param Jyoti?
Brahma Jyoti.
Brahma Jyoti.
Param Brahma Jyoti and Vaikuntha Lok.
Param Jyoti is the spiritual rays coming from the body of the Supreme Lord. It's outside of the material of the spirit of Vaikuntha. It's the rays of it's realization of the body, the realization of the soul beyond the body. It's a state of consciousness. Brahmabhuta, I'm sorry. Krishna says, what is it? What is that verse? Let me think of the verse. Second chapter, first canto. Can't think of the first line of the Vadanti tad tadvad vidyams tad dhyadam gyavayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti subjite. The absolute truth contains three aspects of itself. The absolute truth is one, but it's divided into three levels: Brahman realization, Paramatma realization, and Bhagavan realization. So Brahman realization is what the goal of the impersonal is. To merge into the body of the Lord, to merge into the bodily effulgence of the Lord. It's a state of pure consciousness beyond the material energy, but it's also temporary because there is no ananda. Because there's no ananda, then after some time, aruna krishnena padam padam padanti yada, they come back to the material world because they need relationships. We all need relationships. And then again, they take up material relationships after experiencing liberation in this Brahman state of existence. It's one of the three levels. It's the lowest of the three levels of spiritual attainment. Twin Mayavadis, the impersonalists, Brahmavadis. Now the yogis, they go higher. They go to the Paramatma realization, realizing Krishna within the heart of all living entities. And that's the second stage. The highest stage is to realize Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead through the process of bhakti yoga, serving the Lord in devotion. So, Vadanti tad tadvad vidyam tad jnanam avyayam brahmeti paramati bhagavaniti subjite. So yeah, it's the lowest level of spiritual attainment.
Is that okay?
And I mentioned the characteristics. The characteristics are also mentioned in the purport here also. Freedom from material suffering, realizing one as being eternal, having some transcendental knowledge, but no ananda. Without ananda, there is one cannot be fully satisfied in whatever state. Happiness Ananda means bliss or happiness that comes only with loving relationships with the Supreme Lord. When you live in a material, I'll use a material example. Do you go to work simply to work? No, you go to work to get something. And you want to use that so you can develop your relationships in this world in different ways with your family, friends, and others, society. So working is not the goal. Do you cultivate knowledge simply to enjoy knowledge itself? But a knowledge points one in a certain direction. But when you have a relationship with another person in a loving way, that's the perfection of happiness. And that's the goal of all activities. Even you can, if you use that example, and even in the material sense. So unless we do awaken our loving relationship with Krishna through serving Krishna, we can, and you that whatever level of attainment you have will never satisfy you completely. We have the example of what was it in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Gopal Kumara. He made it all the way up to the spiritual world and was face to face and talking with and exchanging nice, loving relationships with Lord Narayan. But he wasn't satisfied because his relationship with the Lord was in the level of Goloka Vrindavan, with Krishna and Vrindavan. So although he had attained such a high state of spiritual practice, still, because his nature was to love Krishna as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan, he hadn't attained that yet. The Lord knew that, so the Lord sent him back to the material world to practice pure devotional service, and then, under the guidance of his pure spiritual master, he made it to the ultimate principle of Goloka Vrindavan. His name was Swarupa. That was his name. He was a cowherd boy in the spiritual world.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you. Maharaj, in this context, Rasavilasni Mataji is asking a question. Guru Maharaj, can those who are wise or jnani reach Vaikuntha? And if they do reach, is it possible for them to fall back into this material world again?
The Gyanis can't reach Vaikuntha. They can reach the outskirts of Vaikuntha, but they can't reach Vaikuntha. They reach the Brahman effulgence. If you've seen that beautiful map, you'll see it. Devotees have put together the map of the whole material and spiritual realms in a very picturesque way. And you can see the different levels and the characteristics and the personalities that are connected with each level. It's a beautiful map. You hang it on your wall. It's about the size of your wall. You can get that. I have one sitting in the living room here where I'm at, and it's mind-boggling. You can sit there and read it for the whole day, just getting absorbed and seeing the different levels of spiritual attainment, and of course, our existence in the material realm also. So yeah, we can only find complete satisfaction until we attain our swarup in the spiritual world.
And she is asking a second part, like, since Vaikuntha is in the spiritual world, does it mean that after going to the spiritual world, one can still return to the material world except for Goloka Vrindavan?
No, because this is an interesting question. There are those who can attain the spiritual world in Vaikuntha, and that may be their internal nature, just like you have Hanuman. Hanuman was in Dasyaras, and he serves Ram in the spiritual world in the Vaikuntha realm. There are devotees of Lord Nrsingadev. That's also within the Vaikuntha realm. There's devotees of Upendra. There's devotees of Vamanadev. all of these different incarnations of the Lord have their planets in the Vaikuntha realm. And if one worships the Lord in awe and reverence and perfects that worship, they can achieve the Vaikuntha level. But Lord Chaitanya has come, and he is Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nohiyoni. He's teaching, practicing the realm of Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna in Vrindavan, as the beautiful cowherd boy, where the mood of Aishwarya Bhav is not there. It's only Madhurya Ras that's there. Madhurya means sweetness. So our acharyas are coming in that line. They're not in the realm of. So if you want to, you can also make it to the Vaikuntha realm and stay there eternally as a servant of Lord Narayan in one of his multifarious forms. And that's eternal. You don't fall down from that either. But as you practice devotional service, you will start to awaken your internal mood of loving service. And then you'll start to cultivate that mood in relationship to the spiritual activities you perform. So you'll see in Lord Chaitanya's movement, you had Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta was Hanuman come again to assist Lord Chaitanya in his pastime. He was an intimate associate of Lord Chaitanya. But his perfection was worshiping Sri Ram in the spiritual world in the Vaikuntha level. And Lord Chaitanya challenged that just to test him, to see how fixed he was in his own relationship with Ram. And he passed the test, and the Lord congratulated him for his love for Lord Ramchandra. So you can love the Lord in different ways, but we're fixed on Krishna. Anybody have a problem with Krishna?
Oh, Maharaj.
He's the sweetest. But he's the most difficult to attain also. So,
Yes, Maharaj. Definitely.
Thank you so much, Mara. Nice explanation, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
anyway, your name is Radha Vilas Radha. What is it? Rasa Vilas Radha. So if you stick to your name, you'll make it to Goloka Vrindavan, because that name is not a Vaikuntha name, it's a Goloka Vrindavan name.
Jai.
Only by your mercy, Maharaj. I am nothing without you.
You got to work for it though.
Yes, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you. Shilpesh
So if
Prabhu.
you just keep dancing for Krishna, you'll dance yourself back to Godhead.
Follow Guru Maharaj, that's all. Maharaj, can you please tilt your screen a little bit? We are not able to see you fully. Yeah, thank you. Shilpesh Prabhu, please go ahead. Sridevi Mataji, I'll go with you later.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to yourself, all glories to the assembled devotees. Guru Maharaj, if Krishna wants us to come back to him,
He does. Don't worry, he does.
he does want us to come back.
Don't
Why-
worry, that's fixed. He's not wasting time just trying to play around. He wants you to come back.
So then why did he allow these different stages of realizations for other types of devotees?
Because not everyone can attain to the highest stage because of their entanglement in the material energy. Even you can explain this to many persons who have some spiritual moods or activities, but they can't even understand these higher levels. Even Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami explains that, I'm hesitant to speak about what I'm about to speak about because people in general cannot understand, nor are they qualified to understand. But only the devotees who have a loving mood towards Krishna, they can understand. And he's describing Lord Chaitanya's relationship with his, in the mood of Madhurya Ras. Oh, yeah.
Should we preach to personalists then, or should we just walk away if they're not open to?
Yeah, preaching means making one favorable towards Krishna. You can do that in many different ways. Based on your level of understanding and based on giving some consideration of the person you're talking to. There's those who take up Krishna consciousness to improve their material life. Yeah. They think, oh, spiritual life is great. I can have a better situation in the world. I'll gain knowledge, and by gaining knowledge, I'll also be able to, control and manipulate the material energy more. And that's true. This knowledge can be used in different ways, even for one's personal gain in a material sense, too. That's why Krishna says, Manusanav sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye, yatatam avisidhanam kaschid mam veti tatvataha. Many people take it up, but how many actually stay fixed in it? And how many of those who stay fixed actually achieve the goal? So the Lord Chaitanya has, we might say, dropped the bar. He made it easy. You have to understand Lord Chaitanya. He is Namo Mahabodhanaya. He's made this process of Krishna conscious easy. Nobody could practice Krishna. Even Krishna, when he said, just surrender to me and I'll take care of you, people couldn't do that. But if we can surrender to Lord Chaitanya's process, chant, dance, take prasadam, read some books, associate with devotees, and stop trying to control the material energy.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, I think I lost my view here. Okay. Got it back.
I think some whiteboard has come up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gone now.
yeah. Thank you, Maharaj.
That whiteboard is the Brahma Jyoti for anybody who wants it. That's what it looks like. Just a big slab of white.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Guru Maharaj, when we talk about Vaidhi Bhakti, it has the awe and reverence in the initial time. When
Which
we talk
bhakti?
about the Vaidhi Bhakti,
Hmm?
Vaidhi Bhakti,
Vaidhi Bhakti.
yeah,
Okay.
all the rules and regulations. So, with that, we come up to the awe and reverence stage. Am I correct, Guru Maharaj?
Yeah, Vaidhi Bhakti is rules and regulations.
Yeah. So,
Where-
is it we come to the stage of awe and reverence through that only? So, is it possible that one is not satisfied in awe and reverence?
Well, yeah, we shouldn't be. I mean, if you speak to Hanuman or some other Vaikuntha Basis, that's their mood, serving the Lord in different ways, seeing themselves as subordinate to the Lord, trying to please the Lord through various services. But the residents of Vrindavan, they don't care whether Krishna is God or not. They just love him because he's so wonderful. But we can't imitate that. That's the stage that develops through carefully following the process of Vaidhi Bhakti and then gradually moving into the realm of Raganuga Bhakti. And that's why I've been explaining that in increments in the last few classes. So that is Lord Chaitanya. He came to give us spontaneous devotional service, not Vaikuntha. But if you want Vaikuntha, you can get it. I mean, at least you can aspire for it.
Thank you,
But
Guru Maharaj.
just like we look at the deities in the temple, where you see Radha and Krishna. So Radha and Krishna are simply Goloka Vrindavan. Radharani is not in Vaikuntha, she's in Goloka. And Krishna has got 4 arms in Vaikuntha, and he doesn't have 2 arms, as you see the deity with 2 arms. So we're worshiping Radha and Krishna, but we're not worshiping them in the mood of Vrindavan. We're worshiping them in the mood of Vaikuntha. So deity worship is in the mood of Vaikuntha, awe and reverence. But it helps to purify the consciousness where we come to the stage of accepting Krishna as our lover in different levels of realization. It's a whole science. It's a process. We read the books, we can understand the process, and we can also understand how to practice the process. If you're simply happy to go to the temple and put your bag of rice in front of the deities and ask for, blessings so your family life will get better, then Haribol. But we're not interested in that level of bhakti. We're interested in developing our relationship with Krishna in one of the mellows of Vrindavan. You have nothing to lose to try for the highest. Even if you don't make it, still, you'll get a chance in your next life to pick up where you left off, and again, start there, and eventually, hopefully make it in that life. So we're followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Noyanya. Read Chaitanya Charitamrita. If we haven't read that, we haven't really understood this process of bhakti. That book is a must. Srila Prabhupada, how he painstakingly spent time putting that knowledge in print. It's a masterpiece. What Prabhupada did with CC is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah. So we have few questions on chat and also 2 hand raises.
Take Sonal. Sonal's next.
Yeah.
She's waiting.
Yes, Maharaj. Sonal Mataji, please go.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my obeisances to all the devotees. So Maharaj, just a follow-up question from Amritanam Mataji is a question that we will only be able to reach Baraganuga stage once we get some idea of our Swarupa, after we get rid of all our anarthas by practicing.
No, not exactly. The preliminary stage of Raganuga gives you entrance into understanding your eternal relationship. It's not that you have your eternal relationship first, but you may get indications of your eternal relationships through worshiping Krishna in devotional service. This is an internal realization that comes by perfecting Vaidhi Bhakti. And you
Thank
start
you.
understand. You're getting an indication of what you want to serve Krishna in a certain way. It starts to manifest in that way.
Okay, thank you so much, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj. Sridevi Mataji, please go ahead.
Guru Maharaj, just a quick question on this Vaidhi Bhakti and Raganuga Bhakti. At what point does spontaneous, I think you did say it, but I just want a little more clarity. Spontaneous devotional service begins on Ruchi. Is that correct? Ruchi
It
and
can be it can begin on Ruchi, it can begin even on Nishta. But it doesn't become mature on Nishta, it becomes mature on Bhava. But it can begin in the preliminary stages of Bhava.
Okay. The second question I have, Guru Maharaj, is you mentioned right in the beginning, we are not the body, we are not the car, but we have to maintain the car. Now, as the aging happens, we have to spend more time and energy and planning, etc., taking care of the body. But as we age, we are also supposed to engage more in devotional service, more in sadhana, more in reading. So, how do we balance these things when the body is making so many demands? We have to listen to the body. Previously, the body would listen to us, but now we have to listen, to keep our foot on the accelerator. It's very frustrating, actually.
Haribo. If you don't know that now, then I can't have nothing I was going to say is going to make a difference. Maintain the body as best you can, but realize ultimately you can't maintain it because it's going to go away sooner or later. So how much time and energy you want to put into it, how much time, but don't let it interfere with your devotional service. If you're not eager to increase your devotional service, then you're not really practicing Krishna consciousness properly. Devotional service by nature causes one to want more service or to do better service. If you're not experiencing either one of those, then mean you're not really practicing bhakti properly. It's just natural to want more. It's natural to want to do whatever you're doing better and better and better. And that's an indication whether you're practicing bhakti properly.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Revati Mataji, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Hi, Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Lord Prabhupada. All glories to us, all devotees. Guru Maharaj just wanted to clarify, just want to make sure that my understanding is correct. Like Jnana Yogis, as you mentioned, like it's eternity knowledge and bliss is missing. And the bliss is like, when we practice Bhakti Yoga, we get that bliss, Ananda. So in Bhakti Yoga, as Guru Maharaj mentioned, like we need to engage more in chanting, Namaruchi, Vaishnava Seva, Jivadaya. So my question is like when one is engaged in Bhakti Yoga, it's again a state of consciousness. It's more natural. So we cannot determine like whether we are in Jnana Yogi or whether we are in Bhakti Yogi. So when we are doing this Namaruchi, we are not still perfect. We are not perfecting these things. Still like material tinge is there. So if we cannot perfect, will like one will end up as an impersonalist?
No. As long as you're worshiping Krishna, you're not in Jnana Yoga, you're not in Karma Yoga, you're not in this, you're in Bhakti. But you have to mature that state of Bhakti, that's all. As long as Krishna is the focus of your activities, you are in Bhakti Yoga. You're not in Jnana Yoga. The karma yogis, and the jnana yogis don't have the personality of Godhead as their object of devotion or their object of achievement. They have liberation only.
Okay, Guru. So when we are doing sadhana, that means like we are doing bhakti yoga. We are not like jnana yogis, even though consciousness is not there.
You're conscious. Everyone's getting. You can't go on if you're not getting a little bit of happiness in Krishna consciousness. Everybody's getting something. Bhakti means Krishna's devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna in one of his transcendental forms.
Okay.
The form of the Lord is the object of service, and not some impersonal consciousness.
Okay, Guru Maharaj. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it. Yes,
You're
please.
blissful. You're right. As long as you're serving Krishna, there is some bliss there. There's some happiness. And you just intensify your service, purify yourself more through the process. And that happiness increases also automatically.
Okay, Guru Maharaj, I got it. Yeah. Thank you very much. Hi, Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Guru Maharaj, we have 2 questions on chat. One is by Ridhanya. She is asking, Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams, please accept my humble obeisances. How to deal with unsupportive family members who always try to deviate you from spiritual goals and work on material goals and become serious with the material goals? This happens to me often, especially because at least people around me think I'm very young to take up bhakti, and they think I need to first settle well in material life. In fact, it so happened once that they started citing devotees in the temple doing well in material life, and their understanding was that those devotees took up devotional services because of their superior material status. In these situations, what are some ways to stay firm and determined with spiritual goals and deal with people like this?
Well, just don't pay attention to them. That's all. Somebody's trying to stop you from what you want to do. You have to either convince them to stop trying or to ignore them. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati says a devotee can become transcendently angry according to 3 different situations. One, if one seeing oneself as becoming lazy, one can get angry at oneself for exhibiting qualities of laziness, and that will help one to get over the laziness. 2, when family members try to prevent you for practicing devotional service, you can get angry at them. And 3, you get angry at the demons who are causing so much problems in the world. So family members, I mean, what is a family member? You just happen to have the same karma. That's why you're together. But we have a broader family. We have the family of devotees. They're more inclined to our relationship of real family, because that's the spiritual family and we're spiritual. And so the devotees are the real family. So take up the family of devotees and give up this material family. I mean, you might have responsibilities there, but do them, but don't let them stop you from devotional service. And eventually you'll become successful because Krishna will help you. You may have to use some tactics to get around on their blockades. What you explain to me as far as what they think is not necessarily true. There are many persons who have taken up Krishna consciousness and have not been successful in their material life. The whole movement was started with devotees from America who were down and out, didn't have any a place to live, but to speak about becoming materially successful. Prabhupada started the movement with thousands of young men and women who were pretty much rejected material life and came to Krishna consciousness. So it's not a prerequisite for performing devotional service that you first have to get your material situation in order, and then you can do it now. Because you won't do it if you spend your time getting your material situation in order. You'll just become like that. You'll forget about bhakti.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah. Thank you so much. We have one more question on chat by Anand Sagar Prabhuji. He's asking, Hare Krishna Maharaj Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. What if we are attracted to other forms of the Lord? Will Hare Krishna mantra and devotional services of our Sampradaya lead us to that planet of that form of the Lord?
Yeah, if you're actually attracted in that way, then your practice of devotional service under the guidance of your spiritual master will gradually bring you to that stage of consciousness, a stage of spiritual attainment. It's not that you have to force yourself to go to the Goloka Vrindavan realm, but that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching. But there are devotees who are in the mood of Vaikuntha, even great souls in our tradition, such as Sridhar Swami. Sridhar Swami is the original commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam. He's seen as the foremost authority on Bhagavatam. But who is his Istadev? His Istadev is Lord Nrsingadev, which is Vaikuntha. Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami had a younger brother called Anupam. Anupam was a devotee of Lord Ramachandra, although Rupa and Sanatan Goswami were devotees of Krishna. In the same family, there were devotees of different forms of the Lord. That's fine. There's no what we say, minimization of going, focusing on your Istadev. But you have to know what is your Istadev, and that comes through the practice of bhakti. It also develops through chanting, through worshiping, following Srila Prabhupada's program. So you don't have to give up your attachment if you're inclined towards the Vaikuntha mood.
Anand Sagar Prabhuji, is it okay?
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. I have one more question, if it is okay to ask. Maharaj, members of my family, they are worshippers of Lord Dattatreya, and whenever I go to India, they insist me to go to places where there are different incarnations of Dattatreya, different temples. So, is it okay to go?
Dattatreya, yeah. Fine. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with going there. Dattatreya is, let's see, he's a powerful manifestation of Vishnu. He's a Vishnu incarnation. Yeah. Which is Vaikuntha. I mean, if you travel in South India, much of South India is in Aishwarya Bhav. The temples center around deities of, Vishnu deities, deities of Narayan, deities of Vishnu, Lord Nrsimha. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went on tour of South India. You read about his tour. He visited Vishnu temples. He visited temples that worship Lord Nrsingadev. But still, it doesn't change his mood of being absorbed in Vaikuntha. So to honor, to hear about Krishna and any of his incarnations, fine, nice. A variety of spiritual existence, different moods, different forms of worship, but ultimately worship. But those who follow Lord Chaitanya are inclined to Goloka Vrindavan. And that's not that everyone has to be in that mood. You have to understand your position through the process of bhakti. Lord Chaitanya tested Murari Gupta just to see. He said, Ram is very nice, but Krishna is nicer. You should worship Krishna. He told that to Murari. Murari, wanting to obey Lord Chaitanya, did his best to try to relinquish his relationship with Ram, but he cried the whole night, couldn't sleep, couldn't do it. Came back the next morning and he said, "My dear Lord, I surrendered my head at the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra. It's impossible for me to put it anywhere else." And the Lord was very happy with him. He said, "Of course, you're Hanuman." And he took a piece of Gopi Chandan and wrote on the forehead of Murari, Ramdas. The Lord was just testing him to see the power of his devotion to Ram. That's all. He wasn't trying to force him to give it up. He was just testing him.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Prabhuji.
Okay.
Manas, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Manas, we got Manas there.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and Hare Krishna to all our simple devotees. So, Maharaj, my question is that we talked about impersonalists are able to achieve attain the Brahma Jyoti, and they are able to get the eternity and the knowledge, but not the bliss. Now, I do understand why the bliss factor is missing. But what about the knowledge? I mean, we understand that the real knowledge is to be able to develop that loving relationship with the Lord and to be able to reach the lotus feet of the Lord. So what kind of knowledge that impersonalists are able to achieve? I don't know.
Knowledge that they are pure spiritual beings, that's all. The knowledge that they have nothing to do with the material energy, their knowledge that they are transcendental by nature to material energy. They don't have knowledge of the Supreme Lord because they don't focus on that. So it's partial. It's not complete. Complete knowledge is to know Krishna and your relationship with him. So they have knowledge, but not complete knowledge.
Got it, Guru Maharaj. So that's a partial knowledge.
Yeah. It's the knowledge of attainment of the Brahma Jyoti.
Sure, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Amritanan Mataji, please go ahead with your second question.
Hare Krishna. So just a quick question, Guru Maharaj. When we have the authority of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he mentioned that we can get angry on the demons. So if we look at the present world, present situation today, we have so many reasons to get angry on. I mean, there are practically a lot of things going on. Then what is keeping the devotees away from getting angry?
Prabhupada was like that. He said, kill all the demons.
If we take the example, I mean, there's a very recent example of the Tirupati temple at present. There is no reason other than that, they have went up to the extent of mixing the beef, what do you say, the beef oil in the Mahaprasad of Tirupati. This is the heights. So I mean there are a series of reasons, but why are we keeping away from following the words of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur?
I can't speak for Tirupati. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But if they're doing that, they're deviating from their practice.
Guru Maharaj, the ghee which was supplied has been found to be so-called ghee, contaminated with animal fat, tallow, lard, everything coming from cows, beef basically. So it has caused a huge uproar, and it is all a huge scandal because some big shot forced them to take up the contract and wanted to basically make money. So it has become a big scandal.
Oh, I'm not aware of it. Anyway, obviously they deviated. They're not demons, though. Don't think they're demons. Demon is something else. Krishna explains the qualities of the demons in the 16th chapter of Gita. Pravitrim cha, nirvittim cha. They don't follow any rules and regulations. They're unclean. They create activities which are meant to destroy the world. They don't believe there's any controller. Although they believe that sex life is the feature by which everything happens in the material world. That's a demon. So they're not demons. There are demons in the world today. There's some big demons, and if you just do a little research, you can see how horrible things are going on in many places in the world. You can't find it on the ordinary media, but you can find it through different news channels that have been following what the demons are doing, and it's pretty horrible. And Prabhupada also said, he said in 1972, he said the demons are increasing and they will continue to increase and they will give you trouble. But he said, don't worry, just take shelter of Krishna, chant the holy names of the Lord, and Krishna will protect you. As Krishna protected Prahlad from his demoniac father, as Krishna protected Devaki from her demoniac brother Kamsa. So yeah, there are demons in the world, and they make a lot of trouble. Most of the leaders in the world are influenced by demoniac policies. They're either demons themselves, or they're propagating principles that are demonic, such as wholesale killing of cows for an economic adventure. That karma is really bad. Heavy karma. Anyway, but what's happening in Tirupati, I don't really know, and I can't make any comments on it.
That was just an example, Maharaj. I mean, as you said, on the generalized level, there's a lot of things going on by demons.
Yeah, but they're not demons. That's for sure.
Thank you, Maharaj. Dear devotees, any last minute questions or comments? Maharaj,
May I humbly ask why you are saying they are not demons when they are using, beef and beef products for supplying the so-called ghee to the temple, which is cow is so dear to the Lord, and they're doing something so heinous as to kill mother cow and using all those contaminated products. So how we can say they're not demons?
They're not. read about what a demon is, and then you'll understand. I just mentioned the qualities of a demon.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
If somebody deviates a little bit from Krishna consciousness, doesn't mean they're a demon. Or if they get a little greedy for material benefits and break the principles, that doesn't mean they're a demon. Means they just went off. Now they have to get back on. That's all. Sometimes you go off, right? But you're not a demon, are you? Okay. So
I hope not, Guru Maharaj. Please, I hope I'm not one.
yeah, when you go off doesn't mean you're a demon. It means you just shouldn't be off. You have to get back on. You did something wrong. Sometimes devotees fall prey to illicit sex. And then they're sorry, they pick up and they get back into Krishna consciousness. Sometimes devotees get involved with other things. And then they realize they made a mistake, or there's after some time they come back to Krishna consciousness. Apichet sudarachuro bhajate mamananya bhak. If one is engaged in devotional service, even if he falls down, still he's saintly.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much for such a wonderful class and nice question answer discussion. Maharaj, before we start chanting, I just want to announce the tomorrow's class and verse number. So tomorrow's class is with Bhakti Sangha devotees, and the verse is Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 10th chapter, verse number 22. 7, 10, 22. And the time is 20 minutes later to our regular time, which is 12:20 p.m. UK time.
So make a note of that, 20 minutes later than we normally start.
Yeah. And it is a different link, and I'll share in the WhatsApp groups. Thank you all.
We have some new devotees who are quite new to our Zoom call. They may not be familiar with that. So make sure they get it.
Sure.
But I think like Garangi Priya and her daughter Sudevi, they're quite new. Binayak is also new, so they may not have these links.
I'll post the WhatsApp group chat link here in the chat here, so that if anybody not in the WhatsApp group, please join through the link right now.
Okay. This is a program we do every other Thursday with the Bhakti Sangha group from Charlotte, North Carolina in the US. And the other Thursday is with the Harrisburg group in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Aside from that, we stay with our regular program of verses from the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
So,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'm going to be chanting for about a half hour. So devotees can continue to chant even after that if they want to, like that. So you can stay on as long as you want. Can you host beyond a half hour?
Yes, Maharaj, I'm here.
Okay, good.
And I can also, if required, Shrimati.
Yes,
Guru Maharaj, I just humbly want to take 30 seconds to announce that we have also started 4:30 a.m. Mangalarti Japa call for those in India, whoever wants to join.
Okay, it's for devotees in India.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Jai Shri Krishna, Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaur, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare 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 Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare